Welcome to Rural Tech Review. Subscribe to the channel. And don't miss the hottest news of the day. Our news today includes the following content. Well, that's all from the realm of bulldozers and the incredible sizes that they get to with both ease and precision, that was capable of handling even the most demanding earth-moving tasks. With its maximum operating weight, Big Roy was a formidable machine that ensured the operator had a lot of comfort during many long hours of work, along with a spacious cabin which could move large volumes of earth. Without a whole lot of effort, it had advanced hydraulic systems offering precise control and efficient operation. It was also equipped with quite the formidable blade and a track system that provided stability and traction on any terrain, a heavy-duty undercarriage featuring a massive engine with a whole load of raw power. Big Roy was quite the impressive machine. Would not go to waste once again, so that this Big Roy and then showed it around at tractor shows. But they saved it, repaired it. The men in the story not only found it, it was considered to be the largest crawler tractor of its day, and at around 65 tons, even when compared to something like the D9. The HD41 was first produced in 1970, after one was abandoned, and they couldn't believe how big that it was. It was so large, in fact, that it got the attention of two gentlemen many years later. That would be the Allis-Chalmers HD41. A very special and large dozer was created, but in 1972, Allis-Chalmers HD41. You may think that all the biggest dozers these days are built in recent times. You may want to give this one a shot to build your perfect dozer to suit your needs. And if you need something that's compact yet powerful, you're going to find that there are plenty of customizable options. Plus, if you go to New Holland's website that you're trying to work over and improve for places like a farm or a rental property, they specifically point out that this is the perfect vehicle that you likely are only tending by yourself. When you need to get a relatively big job done on land, they're trying to be the one that you'll use the New Holland C362. When it comes to this bulldozer, they're not trying to be the biggest one around, what you didn't do well before. And that also means sometimes fixing as you're guiding it from one part of the job site to the next. Companies take their products quite seriously and have complete control over this dozer. You're also going to be quite comfortable when you sit in its cabin with a blade that can push up to 11% more dirt than its counterpart. That's why the D7 is the superior model, and they designed an overhaul in the best of ways. Caterpillar saw the inefficiencies that the D7R was doing, which is different from the D7R. The Caterpillar D7. Here we have the Caterpillar D7, the highest performance in operator comfort. These technical solutions allowed to achieve in combination with a powerful engine and huge capacity dump, to provide the best traction and characteristics, the special carriage suspension was designed. But this one is used for gold and coal mining operations, and one of the reasons for that is because it's rather large. They don't really talk about their mining operations as much as other places. The Chatra T40. Now we head over to Russia to talk about a dozer that they've created for maximum power and efficiency. And providing is going to the blade and the tracks in order to guarantee that all the power the dozer is creating. You can even give the dozer special fits to further suit your needs, and they even use a special recognition system with its emissions and how it runs to fit their needs and style. Equally as important, they've ensured that the owner and driver can customize the braid to keep the machine pushing forward, even in the toughest of conditions. With a variety of track and blade options, along with configurations that are designed, the Case 1650M. The Case 1650M is built for heavy dozing and ripping, so that it can help those with the tasks that they need to get done, that rely on power above everything else. So instead, this one tailors itself to handle the somewhat questionable terrain. The more it can cause havoc for modern machines, the more tropical the climate, is that while mining does take place in South America, well yeah, maybe, but what's key to note here? Now is that a little oddly specific, Ecuador and El Salvador, Argentina, Peru, Mexico? This dozer was specifically made for South American countries like Guatemala, but what it was made for is not only the various sizes and weight loads that it can be and push. Anyway, what makes the Shantue SD16 so interesting, I'm not really sure how much that I can trust things that I see on the internet these days. And number 5 in the entire world. Or at least that's what their website claims, even talking about how it is the #1 construction brand in China, and they're very proud of their brand. The Shantue brand comes from China. Shantue SD16. Between getting the job done and getting the job done right. Able to get the thing to do exactly what you want when you want it to do it. On a construction or mining site, that can be the difference. Well, the more likely you're going to be, the more control that you have of the machine that you're in. That is a whole lot of words to say. And a whole lot of things that I don't understand. Power management and infinitely variable travel speeds. That includes power turns, counter-rotating tracks, hydrostatic advantages. Complete command of an arsenal of production-boosting state-of-the-art electronics will put the operator without all of the extra effort that other vehicles will need. As the brand loves to boast that their vehicle can get all sorts of work done, the John Deere 850K. What sets the John Deere 850K apart from other dozers to get the job done? When you give new members of your crew this vehicle, and that's the kind of safety blanket that you want because they have a history of building these machines in the correct way and all of the other good and glorious things that you've seen so far. Seriously, Caterpillar cannot be praised enough. Keep the driver comfortable so that they would have the best fuel consumption rates, and Caterpillar outfitted it with their latest technology, but don't let that padding on the back fool you. This really is a good dozer. It's nice to be loved every now and again now, isn't it? And people from all over are more than happy to give it praise. And land clearing, all the way to finish grading. So that's proof that this dozer gets things done because it's used everywhere. Customers choose the DAT for everything from dozing, ripping, scraper work, because this bulldozer excels across a wide range of tasks of outstanding versatility, productivity, and resale value. The CAT DAT dozer has a long history of the Caterpillar DAT. And that kind of awareness can be a godsend when it comes to a busy work site. There are light touches like a rear-facing camera which allows you to have total vision of everything so that you know what you're doing at all times. That includes if you need to rip up the ground so that you can get to moving everything. And you can rely on it and its powerful blade to get everything done without any issues. Which enables it to tackle tough jobs with ease. This is a dozer that's meant to move earth and do it in a hurry, with a durable undercarriage and blade design that ensures all the optimal productivity and fuel efficiency that you'll want. This dozer features an intelligent control system and efficient powertrain, which allows the driver to enjoy a long day at work. That is ergonomic and all of the other fancy things, and it offers exceptional performance. In very demanding terrain and working conditions, like a lot of modern-day construction equipment, it features a spacious cabin. It has a robust construction along with quite advanced technology. That's designed for heavy-duty earth-moving and construction applications. Komatsu D155AX8. The Komatsu D155AX8 is a powerful and versatile. Now sure, you may want something a little bigger for your particular job, but depending on your site, it may just be the perfect thing for your operation that you're going to send it to. And like others on this list, you can get it attached with special things to handle all the various kinds of dirt and earth and everything else. It can move tons of dirt at max capacity. It is one that does get the job done. Now, while not the biggest that we've seen so far, the BD2G. Here I'm talking about one such ride that Mitsubishi has made. The Mitsubishi BD2G. And you'll have an all-around great dozer that many people would love to have. Add all that to the ease in which you can fix things once the vehicle inevitably goes down, and good stability so that there's an ease of motion as you work through the dirt, and limit any potential damages to the stuff beneath the main body. The dozer was also designed so that it would have great clearance from the ground, which will help you depending on your driving style. The New Holland D180 has two different kinds of steering systems and having true ease with handling the controls for the dozer and the blade itself. Speaking of controlling the dozer, which includes adjusting your seats and armrests, there's also plenty of customizable elements to the cabin, so that you can bring in someone who does. It will give you a warning, or if something is wrong that you don't understand, you want to know what's going on with your dozer 100% of the time, I mean after all, but instantly report when something is wrong. Not only help to keep constant track of the vitals of the dozer, special monitors that will, first and foremost, the cabin features. With the goal of making operating the machines easier, while keeping the ride more comfortable, so that you can further understand the lengths that these companies will go to. But let's begin with the cabin. There are plenty of things that we can talk about with the New Holland D180 dozer. The New Holland D180. And make them better. And they're always looking for new ways to grow products in order to help make things even more smooth. If not apparent by now, the Caterpillar people know how to make these kind of machines, and so they can put on special buckets or types of rippers on the back by customizing it and optimizing it for the ground that they're working on. Is help a person with their specific job, another thing that this bulldozer has the ability to do every construction person wants. Which again, is something that just about you can easily transport it from one job to the next. And if that's not enough for you, and can do all manner of jobs by itself, plus the dozer is easy to use and control, the more use you can get out of a dozer before you need to fill up again matters. And that's a big deal as we've already discussed. Plus a 10 to 15% improvement in fuel efficiency, increased net power, a new transmission with lock-up clutch torque converter delivers ease of operation, more job site productivity than ever before. With a range of technology features to give the driver, which combines well-known versatility, the latest in the line of Cat D6N dozers, here we're going to talk about the Caterpillar D6N. The Caterpillar D6N. You can see why Komatsu is proud of their long-titled dozer. When you add that to a cabin that allows for easy controlling, a ride that can move on a dime depending on where you need to go, which happens much more than you may think, that can help with lowering fuel costs even when it's idle. This dozer also puts into use a very special engine, the wear and tear of constant work. It's very cool if it's true. Part of the machine is even designed so that you can limit without skipping a beat. You'll have a dozer that can do some earth moving for many years to come. The team behind this big beast promises that should you get it, but it can also cause their lifespans to be put into question. Well, it can not only cause machines woes, but the amount of time that it can do. After all, when you're putting things like dozers to intense labor day in and day out. One of the things that this particular dozer boasts isn't only the work that it can do, D65EX18, but why is it labeled like that? I'm not one to judge, but yes, I am here to talk about the Komatsu. Maybe it's a pride thing or a branding thing, when it's just a bit over the top. Now I honestly wonder at times why some of these dozers have really complicated names. The Komatsu D65EX18. And given how the construction field is, I wouldn't put it past them to try. And so, the Case team really knocked it out of the park with this one, and it'll be interesting to see in the future, if they try to go even bigger, is distractions from inside of the cabin that you're in. And when you're driving a machine like this, well, the last thing that you need. With advanced sealing that helps to keep out dirt, dust, and noise. With excellent visibility and lots of glass from floor to ceiling, a true positive pressure cap, the tracks and the worksite, best sight lines down to the blade, KCM series dozers provide some of the industries having to move around in, or having to deal with water and wet ground that you're like having to go up an incline as you push things around in terrain situations. And as it's happy to show on its website, it can also handle various kinds of inclines. This dozer can suit your needs where moving the most amount of dirt possible was required. Whether it's for land clearance, site development, or landfill operations, powerful dozer and its lines so that they could be put on job sites they wanted to make the biggest and most. For the Case 2050M dozer, that's exactly what they did in order to get the job done so that you can move on to the next step. That sometimes you need the biggest machine possible. Even the companies who make these machines acknowledge the Case 2050M dozer for when things finally get easier. This thing can do both, and it can handle lighter jobs, and that's why you need something big and heavy to push everything out of the way once it's ripped up. It's a time-consuming process. Only then can you move forward and deal with pushing it out of the way and then move your machine forward so that you can rip it up and force the ground to separate. The thing you have to do is literally stick a piece of metal into it when you're dealing with frozen ground. I mentioned ripper attachments with a previous model, and it's worth mentioning it again. And even a powerful dozer can have trouble moving frozen ground around. That's why this one is able not only to move the ground, but also to rip it up. Depending on your location, ice can have a very damaging effect on your vehicle. Handle more heavy-duty stuff like decomposed rocks or massive slabs of frozen ground. But then the company got some requests from people to make something that could. The original model was fine, and sometimes that means having a dozer that can handle extreme conditions. In the case of this one, it's literally what it's built for. They need to have the right kind of machinery to take on the various types of ground and rock that they face and miners will face on the job as the very ground that they're trying to get into. As I've already stated, one of the biggest problems that construction workers are the Chantilly SD32W. John Deere makes dozers, and they appear to make really good ones as well. So that it fits the style of ride and the amount of power that you want to put out, making it an easy to customize ride. And yeah. And for the driver, they've made it so that you can alter the dozer's settings. You can just open up the panels on the side or front and get things accomplished, so that should you need to do maintenance on it. Furthermore, they designed the John Deere 1050K, so the less that you use, the better, while maintaining fuel consumption so that you don't blow through it. Fuel bills can be one of the most costly in machines like this. In this case, they optimized this ride so that it could get the job done, and so they've made some great things as a result. They wanted to put their simple and easy-to-use stylings to the dozer feel. In the case of the John Deere 1050K dozer, it's not the most odd thing in the world to apply your talents to another kind of vehicle. I mean, after all, if you're good at making something of the right kind of equipment, so why is it that they're making dozers? Well, why not? And that brand is typically known for dealing with farming equipment and not construction equipment. While John Deere is a famous brand, the John Deere 1050K dozer. In the end, every little bit helps. Without having to worry about getting stuck. That goes well beyond the vehicles that can be used to expertly and precisely rip up the ground. It can even be turned so that you can get into a tight area. Like many other dozers, this one has a special ripper attachment, which puts less stress and worry on the driver. So that it can best operate at maximum efficiency, the dozer is so advanced that it will automatically change its settings for you. May just be the kind of dozer that you'll wish to go after. The Liebherr PR776. After all, not all pieces of land are the same both in size and composition, so if you're dealing with something that could require multiple styles, but the land that you have to work on will determine what kind of dozer that you need to get. That's not something that you think about when it comes to a dozer providing sufficient power to contend in any situation. This diesel engine has been designed for tough mining and extraction operations, all sorts of terrains that need the earth moved. in that it's a rather large one that was designed to handle this dozer as much like all the others that I've talked about so far, is the Liebherr PR776. On to the next model we go, which in this case is the Liebherr PR776. Well, this is one that you should definitely check out. Caterpillar knows how to get the job done, so if you're ever in the mood for a new dozer, when it's time to start the job, so that almost anyone can jump in and be on their way, and it has an easy-to-use system as it's going across the ground that's designed to reduce all the shocks and bumps that the dozer will face. Plus, like with the other dozer I mentioned before, the D11 has a very comfortable cabin to maximize the productivity of the operation that you'd be using it on, creating smart machines and more informed operators while ensuring that still does all of the heavy lifting that you would expect. Advanced technologies are integrated into the dozer. In fact, they boast a 6% decrease in cost within the D11 model that the D10 did while making it more efficient and cost-effective. The D11 is one of their best models and it improved upon everything, so that miners can get to the pay layer and then begin extracting the dirt. Where things like the Caterpillar D11 dozer help to move earth on various mining sites, and you can see their vehicles on shows like Gold Rush, they're known for making some of the best vehicles to get the job done. The Caterpillar brand is one of the most respected in all of construction. Caterpillar D11 dozer. Number 18. Because in the end, comfort does matter. It's been outfitted with the driver in mind, so you won't feel the roughness as you're pushing the dirt, and it'll be a comfortable ride. This bulldozer will go right through it and keep on trucking. Plus, if you're the person who's driving this dozer, you'll be happy to know, like if the ground is really compact or full of material that's a bit harder to break up, no matter the resistance that the ground gives to it. Furthermore, due to the power that it exerts, it can actually move a large amount of dirt while burning less fuel, all the while going faster on the ground, which transmits all engine power to the transmission. What does that mean? Well, it means that the dozer can get more power. This mode allows automatic engaging of the torque converter lockup clutch. The 575A3 features an automatic torque converter system to increase efficiency during a long push, to make it efficient on all levels. And to that end, Komatsu put a whole lot of effort into the dozer. Now, as I've already stated, that would make it something that a lot of people would be interested in. Efficiency is vital on a work site where big tasks need to get done. There are some who would call it the largest and most productive dozer around. The Komatsu D575A3 SD dozer isn't only a big dozer and got some rave reviews when it arrived. Here's a dozer that just came out in 2023, the Komatsu D575A3 SD dozer. For today's fancy topic, we're going to have a look at just how big this potential bulldozer is. Yes, I said potential bulldozer because the story attached with this picture is that this massive behemoth of a vehicle was allegedly made over in China in complete secrecy. More than likely, they're implying that they don't want other nations to know how big their bulldozers can be so that they can't be replicated or something of the like. Now, as I just commented, size does matter when it comes to vehicles like bulldozers. But is something like this too big? Well, more than likely, yes. But as ironic as it sounds, it's not improbable that something like this could exist. I'm not saying that it does, I'm saying that it could. Now, I will stick with the China story for now and note how they have been trying to overhaul their country regarding its cities and transportation methods. And that means that they want to move a ton of dirt and would likely want something done as quickly as possible. Having something this big would basically allow you to move like basically a mountain, which I'm sure appeals to China and others. So do I feel that this thing is real? Well, it does get complicated, doesn't it? It's clear that there's something off about this photo, including the people that are on top of the vehicle. And secondly, while something like this being built is not impossible, it's actually impractical due to how slow it likely moves, how much effort it would take to make a single one, and the difficulties in transportation. While it's true that size matters with something like this, once you do build it, you're going to need to get it to the destination in question. And that's why a whole lot of miners and construction workers will sometimes settle for something smaller, because it's a whole lot easier and more cost-effective to use than versus a behemoth like this. You heard it here first, and while it's not always the case, size does matter with these machines. But something that could get the job done no matter where it was placed, so that it could not only be the biggest earth mover on the planet. And regarding the Laterno L2350, you can tell that no expense has been spared. Well, then you're going to save time, money, and energy. Load up the various haul trucks in your arsenal more quickly. To that end, if you have something that can move a whole lot of dirt, or something that can, you'll need to get things done in a hurry. You may be wondering, why would someone want something that big? Well, in the construction trade, and on various mining sites, and do I really have to express how insane that is? This thing is so big that it can lift about 80 tons of dirt and earth in one scoop, and the wheels are even bigger than the bucket itself. You can literally fit dozens of people inside of that bucket. You can very easily see why it would have that moniker. And when you look at pictures and videos of it in action, which holds the Guinness World Record for the biggest earth mover, well, that would be the Laterno L2350. Shouldn't we begin with one that currently holds a world record for its size? So given that we're doing a list about the world's biggest bulldozers, the Laterno L2350, and that's what makes them impressive sights. The bigger the bulldozer, which means that the bigger the job to be, or need to be, they can get as big as they want, requires heavy machinery. Well, like any job how big can they actually get? But the question that some of you may have is, jobs, mining, and more. They're vital in things like construction. One scoop push at a time, move the earth. These are the things that are meant to help a simple yet important purpose, and they help to serve at some point in their lives. Everyone has seen a bulldozer. What do you think about this? This concludes our news section. Welcome to leave your thoughts in the comments area. Let's discuss it together. Welcome, don't forget to give me a like and follow. Thank for all.